This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. 2 more days. That's the countdown to a potential UAW strike when the current contract expires at midnight on Thursday. But we are starting to see some more progress. Automotive News reports that the union lowered its wage demands. Instead of a 45% increase, it signaled that it would settle for 36%. Ford offered a 16% increase, up from 15%. Stellantis made a counteroffer yesterday, and while we don't have the details, the company said it's making progress and remains committed to avoiding a strike. GM had no comment on its counteroffer. The automakers have now put in 2 offers on the table, which the union counteroffered, and we think there's 1 more offer to go. That final offer will probably not be made until tomorrow or early on Thursday. But when we say final offer, we mean mostly final. There's always a bit more haggling over minor issues that takes place. And if that goes well, who knows? Maybe there won't be a strike. It looks like India is taking the first steps to get rid of diesel-powered vehicles. The country's transport minister announced a proposal to increase a tax on diesel vehicles by 10% and warned it could go higher if automakers don't start selling more environmentally friendly vehicles. India currently has a 28% tax on diesels, and an additional charge is added depending on the size of the engine. Diesels have already been falling out of favor in India, with its market share dropping to 18% from 50% a decade ago. Stellantis revealed its first production EV based on one of its 4 new EV architectures. The Peugeot E3008 rides on the Stella Medium platform, the same one used for the Dodge Charger Daytona concept. The E3008 will be available in a number of setups. The base model will come with a single 210 horsepower electric motor, a 73 kilowatt-hour NMC battery pack, and an estimated 525 kilometers or 326 miles of range. Somehow, the dual-motor version with the same battery pack and 320 horsepower has the same estimated range as the single motor. And rounding out the EV versions is another single-motor model, but it has slightly more power at 230 horsepower and a larger 98 kilowatt-hour NMC battery pack that provides an estimated 700 kilometers or 433 miles of range. A 400-volt electrical system will allow DC fast charging of up to 160 kilowatts. But Stellantis says there will also be hybrid powertrains available depending on the market. The interior of the E3008 is very futuristic looking. It's very wedgy and angular, features a large 21-inch floating display screen, and a lot more use of fabric on the doors, dash, and center console. Production should kick off soon in France, and sales will start in February of next year. If you're an automaker, how do you get more people to buy an EV? You form a partnership with one of the public charging companies. That's according to a study from Escalent, which said partnerships that offer custom charging programs or membership privileges and discounts appeals to people that are considering an EV. It found that a partnership with Shell Recharge, which used to be known as Green Lots, really appealed to consumers because they likely associate it with Shell gasoline. Intriguingly, consumers also like the idea of automakers working with tech companies to design EVs, like Amazon, Google, or even Facebook. Nissan is bringing back company baseball teams in Japan. It shut down its 2 company-backed baseball clubs in 2009 during the Great Recession, but now they're coming back in 2024 and 2025 as a way to get employees more engaged in company activities and bring people together. Nissan thinks by bringing back its baseball teams, it will help change its corporate culture. And here's something we didn't see coming. Chinese EV startup XPeng is going to ditch its direct sales model and use dealerships instead. It will gradually phase out its direct sales outlets and expand the number of authorized dealers it uses to help cut operational costs and expand market coverage, especially in second and third-tier cities in China. In most parts of the world, the latest and greatest technology first gets applied to high-end models, but not in China. Baojun, which is an entry-level brand under GM's Chinese joint venture, is about to launch the latest generation of its ADAS system in the new Yun Duo, which means cloud in Chinese. And you may remember, this is that new EV with those really comfy-looking seats. But back to the tech. It's a level 2 system that allows for hands-free driving up to 130 kilometers an hour or 80 miles an hour, automatic lane changes, and even autonomous parking. While many automakers offer similar capabilities, almost none of them offer it in a car that sells for roughly $13,000 to $17,000. So, it's not just that Chinese automakers can make EVs cheaper than most companies, they can also pack them full of the best gadgets at a better price. There's a massive amount of money going into Tesla's new plant in Mexico. According to the governor of the state where the plant is getting built, Tesla and its suppliers will spend $15 billion over the next 2 years, which is triple what was previously announced. Tesla hasn't announced when cars will start rolling down the line in Mexico, but last week it was reported that a couple of its suppliers said production won't start until 2026 or 2027. Are autonomous cars safer than human drivers? Not yet, but they are getting closer. That's according to the research firm ID Tech X. One way to measure the safety of AVs is how many miles they can drive before they have to disengage and let a human take over. Last year, GM Cruise hit 96,000 miles between disengagements, but 4 out of 9 of those disengagements were caused by humans. Take that out, and Cruise's AV technology can go 170,000 miles between disengagements. ID Tech X says that's about 85% as good as a human. It also looks at the miles per collision and miles per fatality. And while humans are still better than AVs by those measures, ID Tech X says humans are not getting better while AVs are improving at an exponential rate and have the potential to far exceed human drivers. But we should also note that all of Cruise's AVs operate in geo-fenced areas. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Scheffler, we pioneer motion. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility. We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
At Scheffler, we pioneer motion. Electrifying mobility. Manufacturing smarter. Reducing CO2 emissions. Making energy production clean. Scheffler pioneers motion to advance how the world moves.
At Teijin Automotive Technologies, we combine world-class composite materials expertise with cutting-edge designs because, frankly, there are better ways to lightweight vehicles. So lighten up with Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.